My name's Brandon Blackburn-Dwyer, and I'm here with Congressman Dent at the Global Citizen Festival. Now, Congressman, this is all about the global goals here. The U.S. is obviously a major player. What brings you to our festival to support these ideas?
Well, as a member of Congress, as a member of the House Appropriations Committee, I serve in the subcommittee dealing with the State Department and foreign operations. And one thing I've learned is that, for the United States to have an effective national security strategy, we need to be doing diplomacy, defense, and development effectively. It's a three-headed strategy. We need to do all three well. And development, which is what Global Citizen is about, is really the smallest piece. But to the extent we do development effectively, it helps us in terms of our negotiating positions, diplomatic efforts, but it also helps mitigate the need for defense expenditure. And I've heard that's just not me, Congressman Charlie Dent, saying that. That's what I hear from some of our defense officials. To the extent that we provide for greater economic stability in the developing world in particular, that lessens the need for the purchase of bullets, as they would say. So to the extent you have greater political and economic stability, and through development efforts you can help bring about that change, that lessens the need for defense expenditures in those areas. So that's one reason I've gotten involved, and I've seen some very good work. In the United States, the President's Emergency Program for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, has been enormously effective. I mean, we have done a tremendous job lowering the rates of HIV/AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa. Remarkable, but it not only has it been good for the people of Africa, but it's also helped the relationship between the United States and people in sub-Saharan Africa. The United States is viewed very favorably in sub-Saharan Africa for that and other reasons. So we're talking soft diplomacy here.
Sure. Now, looking at the 17 global goals, they cover everything from peace and justice to no more hunger to, of course, the number one being no more poverty. Now, when you're looking at budgets and you're looking at how the United States should be spending its money, I love your argument about that's cheaper than the security stuff. But are we going to be seeing the 17 global goals adopted in a way that we're going to start using those as a litmus test? Is funding going to where these 17 global goals are targeted?
The answer is we are providing funding to many of the areas that the global goals are advancing. No question about that. But one thing I've learned, that there are a lot of good people out there doing important work. Take the Gates Foundation. They're doing important work in health and agriculture. And they can do things that the governments can't do. They can take chances and they can take risks. And they'll get some things wrong, and they'll admit that. But when they get it right, they can talk to us. And then we can talk about scaling it up. So the point is, whether it's on agriculture, health, education, there's a lot that we can be doing to support a lot of good private efforts. And we can enhance them. So I guess I would say to you, we are moving forward. Last year at Global Citizen, we talked a lot about water, sanitation, hygiene, important issues. And so to the extent that Global Citizen raises awareness, they're helping all of us. And again, these are not always issues that are popular to talk about at home within your constituency. Again, many of our constituents are focused on other issues, but when you see refugees teeming across the borders in Europe from Syria, and by the way, I have the largest Syrian population of any member of Congress in the country in my district, but when you see that, you realize that when there's strife, when there's instability, that it can create problems for those of us who are, in many cases, living very comfortably.
For sure. Now, talking to constituents, a lot of the people that we speak to are skeptics. They would say 15 years to end extreme poverty. I'm not sure that I can get it done. Do you see evidence in the world that we can make that stride, that in 15 years we can truly end extreme poverty?
Yeah, I think it's an aggressive goal, an ambitious goal, but we are making progress. I've been to sub-Saharan Africa, for example, and we are making very real progress. 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, many people looked at, say, sub-Saharan Africa, a very poor part of the world, as a lost continent. Well, that's no longer the case. There are a lot of really good success stories in many of these developing countries. It's not uniform, but many are doing extremely well. Countries like Mozambique, for example, that many people thought was a basket case not too long ago, are really ascending, as are many other countries that I think many of us had some preconceived notions about
where they were going and things like that.
And the truth is, we know this, and some of the fastest growth rates in the world are in Africa. And because many major American companies are investing there. My congressional district, I represent, among other places, Hershey, Pennsylvania, sweetest place on earth.
Absolutely, and one of my favorite amusement parks, by the way.
It is wonderful. It is that too. And but they're heavily invested in the country of Ghana. Well, and try to explain to some of my friends at home that, we have a vested interest in making sure that Ghana is a stable country and that they can continue to grow cocoa. Because last I checked, we don't grow cocoa anywhere in North America, and without that cocoa, we wouldn't be employing all the thousands of people making chocolate and other confectionery products. So
nor eating all of those delicious Hershey bars.
That's right.
I think I eat a couple too many, but
and you should. They also do Reese's as well. Reese's, Kit Kat, they've got it all the good stuff. But bottom line is, though, but they also work with their own. They have their own school, and they do educational programs for the Ghana farmers and their families. So so these connections are extremely important. That's just one example that I can just take from my district, that we are very dependent on Africa to help maintain employment levels in South Central Pennsylvania.
I love it. So the last thing here, we always talk about individuals taking action, getting empowered. If you were going to speak to the people back home, beyond the economic, what could they do in their lives to be better global citizens, to be more engaged, to be more aware?
Well, I guess the best thing a person could do would be just simply to take an interest. And I'm finding more and more that many of my constituents are willing to even, give of themselves in a very significant way. In fact, we've had Peace Corps forums in my own district where we would bring in the head of the Peace Corps to the universities. We bring in the alumni from the Peace Corps from the area, and we invite all the students, and guess what? They sign up Peace Corps volunteers. It's a big deal, and these are folks who go out, and that's probably the ultimate global citizen, somebody who's willing to go live in a very remote, desolate area, in a fairly primitive way, and try to assist in some aspect of improving the human condition. So that's probably the most rigorous sacrifice.
That's the highest.
There are probably all sorts of things that people can do between that level and where the rest of us are.
For sure. Well, I really appreciate you coming.
You.
Your commitment to the global goals is great, and thank you so much for sharing your message.
It's been great. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks.
Thank you, New York City.
True. Thank you, New York City. It's been a great time. Sorry about all the traffic.
That was the Pope.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.